People used to go to Egypt for 3 to 4 days and bring a man-length fish. And they used to sail, they weren't banned from doing so. They used to sail west and get real big groups fish. Gas used to be available. There were no siege back then.
Things were going well. There were jobs. There were work and production. We exported goods through the Palestinian Authority and Israel. Our products were better. They even matched the Israeli quality itself.
We used to do high-quality work and produce over 30 dining sets and 15 bedrooms each month. We even used to export some to Israel.
The Israelis used to change the Made in Gaza label with one that says Made in Israel. Our products were abundant. Economy was going great. I was a tailor, working in the industrial area. I had a good income. I used to be able to get enough food. But now, when the borders got closed, we became unable to get to the industrial area. Most tailors now are unemployed. There is no tailoring in Gaza. We are jobless now. Israel claimed that it reopened the borders and exported goods to us. In fact, they didn't. They never give us a raw material that we need in our work, but we still hope. Life is paralyzed. Everything they do is based on trivial security excuses.
Of course, after the siege were imposed on us, we started getting wood from the tunnels. It was not of a good quality, and so we started working again. Gaza can't contain all the workforce that we have. Even those who were exporting to Israel turned to market in Gaza.
We used to work all day and produce over 50 tons a month, some of which used to be exported to Israel. Now, we barely produce 5 tons each month.
Now we sell our products at prime cost. Just for the sake of work, electricity crisis also affect us severely. As you see in the schedule, workers couldn't work but 6 to 7 days a month. They have families and they have to make living. And that's all because of power outages. It goes off for 3 to 4 hours.
For example, the power is on 6 hours a day. And when I want to run the plastic pipes maker, I have to run it for a whole 3 hours before starting to work. This way, I only have 3 hours left, which is not enough. I can't make profit out of that, and unfortunately, we have to manage our daily life despite everything. We have to survive. You can see that everything is paralyzed, and the iron work is off. Workers spend their days home, and there is no production. There is no power, thus, no work. Work opportunities are rare. I don't really know what to say.
The Israelis tell us that we can go deep in water for 2 to 3 kilometers. They sometimes tell us that you're allowed to go for 6 kilometers 1 week. Then, when you're there, the army says that you're in the dead zone. At that point, the Israeli cruisers start shooting in our direction. Most fishermen quit working because they couldn't fish. We only have 3 miles to fish within, and there are 3,000 fishermen. It can't work this way. We have nothing to work on. 90% of people are doing nothing for a living. There are a lot of solid waste dumped in the water. When fishing, we find plastic bags in our fishing net instead of fish. Fish run away from the area because of the sewage tube that started causing problems 6 years ago, which is still unsolved. Our fishing nets get covered with sewage waste all the time.
I don't want to talk. I don't even like to talk.
My daughter Shimua is experiencing psychological problems as she has done many interviews and other people so have. She had hope in God's grace first, then the help of good people to have a surgery. But now, unfortunately, she lost hope because of unfulfilled promises.
The other day, my drama teacher asked me about this, but I couldn't say a single word. There were foreigners, but I couldn't talk. All what they do is filming, yet they do us nothing at the end.
I have 4 thalassemia patients who need 4 medical devices. But we only have 2 devices that perform the process of breaking down the iron ions in blood and excrete it. If my children don't get these devices, they would have splenomegaly and die any moment. A device costs $600 to $700, which is not too much. But such devices are not available in Gaza. I'm trying to manage using the devices among my children because they won't survive without it.
I once dreamed that we were traveling on a plane. Then we went back on the same plane to our country. We didn't travel. Since that day, I stopped wishing to travel or talk. I feel the surgery would fail. And I also feel that we won't travel.
We've been to Egypt for tissue match analysis as a beginning, and thank God, it was positive. Her brother was proved to be her donor. After that, I came back to Gaza as I couldn't afford the surgery. The tissues match, and she's ready for one. It's not only about the surgery itself. It's also about the blockade and the absence of a financial donor.
I hope God gives me a room. And I also hope God heals me.
Gaza is not in need of the prosperity the world lives in. Gaza only needs to earn a livelihood. The construction sector is working with less than 15% of its previous capacity, leading to more than 30,000 losses in job opportunities since July 2013. As of August 2013, over a third of those able and willing to work are unemployed, one of the highest unemployment rates in the world. Additionally, the economy has endured severe losses of worth of $460 million in all economic sectors within the past 2 months. The daily per capita income in Gaza doesn't exceed $2. Another significant deterioration affected the right of freedom of movement, where Egyptian authorities have closed Rafah border crossing, banning constantly tens of thousands from leaving out or in Gaza. The current situation in the Gaza Strip after Egypt's full destruction of the lifeline tunnels is the toughest since December 2008. A long-standing electricity deficit compounded by shortages in fuel needed to run Gaza's power plant results in power outages of up to 12 hours a day, while over 90% of the water extracted from the Gaza aquifer is unsafe for human consumption. Some 90 million liters of untreated and partially treated sewage are dumped in the sea of the Gaza coast each day. The population of 1.6 million people, more than half of which are children, suffers from high levels of poverty and dependence on aid. Since 2007, an average of 20 to 25% of patients were denied permits to cross into Israel for medical treatment. Tens of patients died while awaiting referrals to hospitals. For example, in 2010, 29 patients died while awaiting referrals by the Israeli authorities. Until 2013, more than 40% of the essential drug items in the essential drug list and more than 50% of the medical consumables were out of stock. More than 4,000 fishermen are suffering because they cannot get any fuel which is necessary for their work, leading to a serious deterioration in the living conditions of more than 75,000 people who rely on fishing as their main source of living. In contrast to Israel's commitments in accordance with Oslo Agreement to allow fishing within 20 nautical miles, the army reduced the permitted range of fishing to 3 miles. Over the years of siege, Palestinian fishermen were not safe from being insulted or arbitrarily arrested by the Israeli forces.